Look, I know, you know, we all know. Let's move on. Now that I don't have a major Bravely project to work on, I can start working on more individual pieces of content. Like, look at this. I've got over a whole game's worth of custom asterisks that you guys sent in to go through. So, better keep that train a-rolling. Or start her up again? I don't know, it's Bravely Default 2 Custom Asterisks. Today's job comes from Lunar, and it is called the Automaton. It appears to be a class focused around robotics and a new resource called battery. Does this automaton pass inspection, or will it crash and burn? Let's take a look, right after you like and subscribe. When you like and sub, it is a massive boost to the channel, so if you want to help me out, just click those two buttons and it'll always be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Also, just one last quick note, I've corrected or changed some of the wording in the abilities to be more accurate to how they'd likely appear in the game. The Automaton's first specialty is battery life. User has access to battery and battery abilities, and you start a battle with 100% battery. That was quite the tongue twister. Battery can be regained and depleted based on certain actions, and reaching 0% battery will result in a KO. Specialty 2 is Charging Station. Auto-recover 20% of battery at the start of your turn. The special move is Overcharge. Use robotics 16 times to unleash a powerful lightning attack on all targets and boost battery level over its limit. It buffs aim by 30%, speed by 30%, and of course increases your battery life to 110. Level 1 is Missile. Perform 2 physical attacks to 2 random targets. Cost of 10% of your battery. Level 2 is Kinetic Energy. Gain battery when using the attack command. This is a passive for 1 slot. Level 3 is Oil Slick. Decrease target's chance to hit by 15%. Cannot exceed 35% limit. 25 MP. Level 4, Debilitating Siren. For 15 MP, attempt to inflict confusion on a target. Level 5 is another passive, Iron Shell. Immune to poison, contagion, paralysis, and sleep, but susceptible to rust when hit with a water or wind attack. Note, the rust ailment makes the target unable to move for 2 to 3 turns until it wears off. Level 6 is Missillara. Perform 4 physical attacks to random targets. This costs 20% battery. Level 7, Potential Energy. Default and recover 20% battery. Level 8 is Overclock. Cast Quick and Haste on self for 2 turns, 20% of your MP. Level 9 is Heart of Stone. Immune to Charm, Dread, Berserk, and Confusion, but you can no longer regain BP when defaulting. This is another passive for 1 slot. Level 10, First Law. Spend 10% battery to revive a KO'd ally until your next turn. Fails if battery is under 10%. Level 11, Missilaga. Perform 6 physical attacks to random targets for 30% battery. Level 12 is Heat Seeker. Ensure that your next attack doesn't miss on target. This costs 50% of your MP. Level 13, Stasis. You will be inflicted with Stop Ailment when HP reaches 1. You will not enter a KO'd state while Stop Ailment is present. This is a passive for 2 slots. Level 14, Plasma Cutter. Perform an extremely powerful lightning attack on all targets that pierces default. This costs 60% of your battery. And finally, level 15, Overdrive. Boosts speed and attack based on user's weight stat. Ignore negative effects of being overloaded. This costs 40% of your HP. Alright, well, that was the Automaton. So, does it get the red seal of approval? Not quite, unfortunately. First thing that came to mind is, unless the job would be very steampunky or come out of Holograd, I personally don't think Automaton really fits into the theme and world of Excellent that well. But that's a bit of a big nitpick, so let's not worry too much about that. Let's go over the things I like first. Missile spells getting the traditional naming scheme is really fun, and I think they are also nice. I also just like the concept of the battery resource in general. New resources for jobs are always cool to me. Stasis is a very cool passive, and Overdrive is really neat, actually making use of the game's weight stat for ability stats. Good stuff. Overall though, I think this one needs some more time in the oven altogether. My first and biggest problem is in regards to the battery system, hence why I said I liked it in concept. In execution, this is a bit of a mess. You only have 3 ways of refilling your battery. The first of which is locked behind a level 12 specialty, the second one being locked behind a level 7 command, and the third one being locked behind a passive ability at level 2. Just abysmal recovery methods in my opinion. Yes, you can have your team carry you to these levels, but that shouldn't have to be the case. The job should still be able to regularly function without needing to be carried. Next up, being able to ignore every status ailment with only 2 passive slots seems a bit strong. Granted, now you can be affected by rust and no longer get BP from defaulting, but rust is only caused by 2 elements, and defaulting not giving BP isn't super detrimental. Thief already does that, and arguably better, and the class is still one of the most powerful in the game. Then there's also the issue of programming. Since there was no information given on how this would work, what happens if you die of 0% battery? Do you revive with 100% battery? 50? It's not exactly clear. Or do we take the worst path possible and just go with what we're given, which would mean you die from having 0% battery, get revived with 0%, and then just die again? Are you just permanently dead for the rest of combat if you run out of battery? That seems kind of counterintuitive. And last, spending half of my total MP to make sure my next attack will land with Heat Seeker? I will never use this ability. It's way too expensive for what it does. Maybe it's a typo, but as it was sent, even for use with a random chance ability, it's just too costly. But while I wouldn't pass this on in its current state, I definitely see a lot of potential here, just needs some reworking and cleanup. So thank you, Lunar, for submitting this. Sorry it took so long to get to it. If you have a custom Asterisk idea and would like to submit it, feel free to join my Discord and submit it in the BD2 Custom Asterisks channel. Just be aware that there is definitely a queue. Thank you for watching, have a good one, and I'll see you soon.